Hey everyone, I hope you all having a wonderful time. Today I'm gonna share my experience of using this Klipsch reference Premier RP500 to they improve the track tricks horn design and as well as the port in the back. They also make the tweeter and all the drivers much improved and better design compared to previous generation. So when I had chance to compare and review these speakers, I was gonna do a RP600M. When I really listened to it, I think this RP500M Mark II has a much better drivers integration and much better togetherness and cohesive sound signature that it can produce, which means it has very good drivers integration that they design and they put together. They sell for $600 retail price if not discounted. So when they go on sale, you can get below $450 or around $400 range. Overall, build quality very similar to previous generation. Probably internally and drivers are much improved, but the cabinet is not so much improvement. It's pretty thin MDF cabinet, so that's the only little downside that I like to point it out. And then the binding posts are now even improved. Instead of plastic knobs, now it uses appear to be anodized aluminum knob for the newer generation. I'm using 500M with this top-end PA5 Class D little amplifier, palm size Class D amplifier, which is capable of dynamic power of 140 watts at 4 ohm load, but average power should be around like 50 watts in general. So that one is retail for $350. That one directly connected to my Sony music server using XLR to TRS to this top-end PA5. Parent components, you can find it in my video description. As usual, I like to listen my favorite music and then really good quality recording and not so good quality recording, right? And then I went through a bunch of hard rock, heavy metal. I mean, to my surprise, this is the one of the most engaging and enjoyable, musically enjoyable, yet very entertaining. Meaning, as soon as your music starts flowing, all of a sudden, without myself noticing, my foot will start tapping and my hands will start flipping and that kind of stuff. So this really impressed me in that regard. This one will give you great entertainment as well as giving you musical pleasure or enjoying your music, whether you have a decent quality recording or not so good quality recording. Better the recording you have, it will give you better sound. But by saying all that, they need more power to shine and bring the best sound out of them. I was trying this top-end PA5. It sounded okay. Bass can get a bit boomy and less refined, not as well have like definition or separation, not enough good enough separation between the notes in some of the music with a little bit bass heavy tracks or mid bass heavy region. A little turn off for me with pairing with this PA5 because this little amplifier doesn't have ability to fully drive these speakers for my taste because it cannot produce good enough definition. Hence, this one also have a lowest, one of the lowest sensitivity rating in Klipsch lineup. So generally, I mean, like compared to other speakers that I reviewed recently, like CSS Audio, Tori, or like Project Speaker Box 5. This one is about the same, maybe a few dB louder in sensitivity wise. In this video sound sample, you will hear with the Grace Maya usual track using this PA5. This speaker is $600 retail, right? But it can't stop me for trying with $4,000-$5,000, solid state amplifier Class A bias design. So I try that. So this is a Dano PMA S611. I pair with a leather Schumann R2 DAC, USB cable feeding from my music server to leather Schumann DAC. As soon as I pair that, incredible, incredibly musical, depth, skill, dynamic range, musicality, as well as tonality is very good, and the transient response and small tiny bit of nuances and notes are more noticeable. Upper mid-range region is totally clean up and more refined and more transparent, as well as that boominess in the mid-bass area is very well reduced, which means the damping factor and the power supply is making a big difference in that kind of sound quality improvement. Overall sound quality, when I'm driving with this PMA S611, it's just, I was floored. When I was younger, I never liked any of Klipsch speakers. But over time, they change, they evolve, and they are catching up with the what market trend is, and many speakers companies have been doing. Because my in-room response measurement totally shows that. So I measure them on axis right in front of the tweeter, like 12 inches away. The measurement microphone sits on the stand, right? Which you will see clearly that LS35A kind of a BBC curve kind of response area in 1000 to 2000 hertz range. So that is the trend that many speakers were going. This kind of speakers are entry point to the main brand. So they make it right. They make it sound real nice. Then you will end up, you fall in love with it and you will end up going up on the chain. So this is a speaker that I can easily, wholeheartedly recommend it to you to buy it, not try it. Okay, if you want your music to sound great, incredibly musical, as well as having very good dynamic sound without giving you a lot of fatigue, as they used to be in general, these kind of Klipsch speakers, and these are not, okay? But if the music has a bright sound, this will totally deliver that. But generally, it's forgiving, engaging, and tonally slightly a bit on warmish side of a sound signature, which give you great pleasure on listening. And what will give you big surprise is depth of the stereo image. Soundstage depth is incredibly good for the price and size of the speaker. I mean, overall sound signature wise, very close to something like KEF LS50 in terms of drivers integration. Only advantage to KEF LS50, in my opinion, is it will have a better stereo image, which this one is a little bit lag behind, but not so bad, okay? It's pretty decent stereo image. I mean, it may even be better buy than a LS50, matter or not, because this one will handle a bit power more than LS50 can, and this one will play a bit louder given same volume level, as well as it may even give you a bit more punchier bass quality if your amplification is up for it. So I mean, this gonna be ultimate great buy if you are shopping for any speakers under $1,000 US. This one will totally go toe-to-toe with speaker Box 5 S2, but only a little different will be Box 5 have a slightly better instrument separation. Bass will be, this one is a little better, more responsive, and more slightly deeper feeling when you're listening to it, because there's a little bit of more pronounced in mid-bass area in, generally speaking, this kind of small mini monitor speakers. Oh, one thing that I would like to tell you is, if you are a big fan of old Klipsch sound, this may not suit you well, but this one is forgiving, engaging, and slightly one side of a neutral sound, which means you can pair pretty much with any kind of amplification or equipment to deliver you good high quality sound. So this is very good buy when they are selling for the retail price. When they are discounted, it will be great buy. So I can easily recommend this speaker if you are looking for any speakers under $1,000 US. You should give it a try. Even comparing to their own RP600M doesn't have good driver integration like this RP500M2 has. Drivers integration, tonality, and balance and everything, pretty much I would say comparable. I think drivers integration, this one is a bit better, and stereo image, I prefer this RP500M2 over 600M2. These can be paired with any kind of equipment. That is my favorite thing to say when I'm reviewing speakers, okay? Because some speakers are not, but this one is very good at pairing any kind of components. Better the component, it will give you better sound. So that is my review. Thank you very much for watching, and happy listening.
Something heavily on the bass, Mr. Torigoe Keisuke-san. On the guitar, Onuma Yosuke-san.